Hi everyone, welcome back. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these really cute, really sparkly beaded bunch of grapes keyring. So stay tuned if you want to find out how to make one of these. Okay, so to make one of these really cute beaded bunch of grapes you'll need some size 11 seed beads, and this is by Miyuki and the colour is transparent amethyst. You'll also need some 3mm crystals, and I'm using these tiny little purple bicones. If you can't get 3mm crystals, then you can also use size 8 seed beads. They're the same size and it works just the same. You'll also need some size 8 green seed beads if you want to add a bit of greenery at the top. That's optional, but that's another thing you might need. You will need your thread, and I'm going to use Fireline because it holds the shape really well, £6. And I'm using the smoke because these are dark beads, so I don't want it to show up at all. And you'll also need some head pins to attach the grapes to, and you'll need some small silver jump rings, and I'm also going to use some larger silver jump rings as well. That's just optional as well, that's at the top of here. I just like it to sit a bit lower down from the actual keyring. And then of course you will need a keyring as well if that's what you want to attach it to. And to deal with the head pins you'll need your wire cutters and round nose pliers. And I think that's everything, so let's get started. So for each grape that you make, each individual grape, I cut about 20 inches of thread. So I've done that and I've threaded it onto my needle. And the first thing we're going to do is pick up 4 of your 3mm beads or size 8 seed beads. So pick up 4 of those and slide them down onto your thread like this, leaving just a few inches like that at the end. Hold them there and then sew up through the first bead. Now we're going to be putting a size 11 seed bead in between each of those. So pick up one, and I'm coming out of this one. I'm going to go into the next one in the circle. Picking up another size 11 seed bead, coming out of this one, I'm going to go into the next one. And picking up another, coming out of this one, I'm going to go down into the next one. And last one for this row. Picking up another size 11, we're coming out of this one, we're going to go back through that first one. Pull that tight, make sure you hold your tail thread tight so it doesn't unravel. So we've got this, now we're coming out of this crystal, we're going to move up into this size 11 seed bead right next to it. So we're coming out of here. Now we're going to pick up a size 11, a 3mm and a size 11. And going back into this bead that we're coming out of, but on the opposite side that your thread is coming out of it. So like this to make a loop. Pull that down and you should have this. Now we're going to move through the next 3mm bead in this original group of 4. And through the next size 11 seed bead that's on the top. And we're going to do the same, we're going to add another one of these little units. So we're going to pick up a size 11, a 3mm bead and a size 11. And we're coming out of this bead on this side, so we're going to go back into it on the other side, like that. So now we have this. Now we're going to move through this next 3mm bead and through the next size 11 seed bead. Like that. And then we're going to do the same, we're going to pick up a size 11, a 3mm and a size 11. And we're coming out of this bead on this side, we're going to go back into it on the other side, like that. Now we have this. So now we're going to move through this 3mm bicone and through the size 11 seed bead on the bottom. Okay, and we're going to add one more of those units. So picking up a size 11, a 3mm and a size 11. and then we're going to go back into that bead that we're coming out of on the opposite side. Pull it down, make sure they sit in the right place. So now we have this, we've got these 4 little units coming out of the side. Now we're going to move our needle. So we're coming out of this size 11 seed bead here, we're going to move through the next 3mm bead, through the size 11 and up into this one here on the side. So I'm going to move through that next 3mm bead. So I'm coming out of here. Now I'm going to move through this size 11 bead that's right next to the one I'm coming out of. So now I'm coming out of here. Now this is one of those little units of 4 that we just created. I'm going to go up through the one on the side. So when I hold it like this, you should be coming out of this bead here. Now you're going to pick up a 3mm bead, and so you're coming out of the side bead, this little unit, you're going to go down through the side bead on the next little unit. So I'm coming out of this one, I'm going to down through this one next to it. Now I need to move my thread through this size 11 on the bottom and up through the size 11 on the side. And then I'm going to pick up another 3mm bead. So now we're coming out the side of this little unit here, we're going to go down into the side bead on the next little unit. So I'm coming out of this one, I'm going to go down through this one. So we have this. I'm just going to turn it so I can hold it better. So now I'm coming out here, I need to go through this size 11 on the bottom and up through the size 11 on the side. Picking up a 3mm bead, and I'm coming out of this one, I'm going to go down through the size 11 on the side of the next unit, so down through this one, like that. And now I need to move my thread again. So I'm coming out of this one on the side, so I'm going to go through the size 11 on the bottom of that little unit and up through the one on the side as well. So picking up another 3mm bead. So I'm coming out of this bead here on this little unit, I'm going to go into the next unit here, down through that one on the side. Okay, and now we have this. So my thread's coming out of this bead here. I'm going to travel through this size 11 underneath it, up through the size 11 on the side, and then into this 3mm. So your thread's coming out of here, you're going to go into the 3mm that's to the left of you. Now you want to encourage them 3mm to sit up like this, so I'm just taking my thumbs and fingers underneath and pushing it so that 3mm start to curl in. So you're coming out of this one and you want to move through 3mm, you're going to go through 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8 and through 1 more. So you're going to move through 9 crystals, and when you pull it tight that should bring those crystals together and you should have this. Okay, so we've got this, so now you should be coming out the same crystal as me. I'm going to pick up a size 11, a 3mm and a size 11 again, like that. I'm going to go back through the crystal that you're coming out of on the opposite side. So we've got this. Now you're going to move through 2 crystals, so move through the next 2 in the circle. Then going to do the same again, so pick up a size 11, a 3mm and a size 11. And coming out of this crystal here, so I'm going to go back into it on the other side. Create this second little loop. And then need to move my needle through the next 2 crystals in the circle. So I'm coming out of this one, I'm going to move through the next 2. And then we're going to do the same again. So I'm going to pick up a size 11, a 3mm and a size 11. And go back into that bead that I'm coming out of on the opposite side. Pull it through and then move my needle through the next 2 crystals, so through that one and the next one. And this is the last one, so we're going to do one more of those little units. See, we've got 3 at the minute. We're going to pick up a size 11, a 3mm and a size 11. And we're going to go back into that one that we're coming out of on the opposite side. Pull it down. So now we've got these 4 little units. So what I'm going to do now is I'm coming out of this, fold that down so you can see. So I'm coming out of this crystal here, I'm going to go up through that size 11 right next to it, in that first little unit. We're basically going to be doing the same thing we did on the row below, if you can remember that. So we're picking up a 3mm crystal, and here's the 4 little units that we just added. So I'm coming out the side bead on this unit, I'm going to go down through the side bead on the next unit, so down through this size 11. So we're just going to be adding 4 beads in this row. So now I'm coming out of this size 11, so I'm going to move my needle through this crystal on the bottom and up through the size 11 on the side. So through the crystal and up through that size 11 as well. And then I'm going to do the same again, picking up a 3mm bead, coming out of the side bead on this little unit, I'm going to go down through this side bead on the next unit, like that. And then again I'm going to move my needle through this crystal on the bottom and up through the size 11 on the side. Same thing again, picking up a 3mm bead, coming out of this one on the side, we're going to go through this next size 11 bead on the side, through the bead on the bottom, the 3mm, make sure you don't catch any of the crystals in your thread, and up through the size 11 bead on the side. So this is going to be our last bead of this row. Picking up the last one, 3mm crystal, you're coming out of this size 11 on the side, you're going to loop round and go down through this size 11 on the other side. So now we have this. I'm just going to keep it flat for a minute so I can show you where to move your thread. So you're coming out of this size 11, you're going to move through this 3mm crystal underneath and up through this size 11 on the side, like always. So through that 3mm, up through the size 11 on the side, and then you can push those crystals together again, bring them up like that, and now you're going to go into the one to the left of where your thread is coming out of. So it's coming out here, I'm going to go into that one to the left, and then I'm going to move through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 crystals. So go through them all again and then through one more, so go through 9. And pull it really tight. Now you got this. Okay, so this time you're going to pick up 3 size 11s, no crystals this time. So pick up 3 size 11s, coming out of this bead here on this side, I'm going to go back into the same bead on the opposite side. Doing the same thing we did in the row below, but we're not adding any crystals. Now I'm going to move through the next 2 3mm beads. like that. And do the same again. Pick up 3 size 11s, go back into that bead that you're coming out of on the opposite side, and then move through the next 2 3mm beads. Same thing again, pick up 3 size 11s, go back into that bead that you're coming out of on the opposite side, and move through the next 2 crystals. And this is the last little one, picking up 3 size 11s and going back into that bead that we're coming out of on the opposite side. So now we have this. We've got these 4 little units, and if you push them up like that, so we're coming out of this crystal at the bottom. I'm going to go up through that size 11 bead on the side of that first little unit and into the one on the top of that little unit. So I'm coming out of this bead here. Now I'm going to pick up 1 size 11 bead, and I'm coming out the top bead in this little unit of 4. I'm going to go into the top bead in the next little unit of 4. So this one. Like that. Picking up another size 11. Turn it round, so we're coming out of the top bead in that unit, so you're going to go into the top bead in this next unit of 4. So that one. And picking up another. Turn it round again. And you're going to go into the top bead in this next unit of 4. Like that. And last one. It's a bit harder to see. So we're coming out of this one here, and you need to go into, let's see if I can show you. You need to go back into the first bead that we were coming out of. So here's the little unit of 4. It'll probably be easier to see like in person in your piece. But here's that first little unit of 4. We're coming out of this one over here, so we're going to go through that top bead in that little unit. Put it really tight. Okay, so we have this sparkly little grape. Now just to finish it off, trying really hard to let you see this, but I don't know if you can. I'm going to move through the next size 11, right next to the one I'm coming out of, and sew through those last 4 beads that we just added. And like I said before, you'll probably be able to see which beads they are better on your own piece, because it gets a bit hard to show you these dark colours on the camera. But just sew through those last 4 beads that you added a couple of times just to bring them together and tighten up the top of the piece. Okay, so I've done that, and that's the finished grape. So now what you need to do is tie a couple of knots with your thread and cut it off, and tie a couple of knots with your tail thread and cut that off as well. And then what you need to do is, if you want to do exactly the same like bunching that I'm going to do, I'm going to make 8 of these total. So I've made 1, I'm going to make 7 more. So if you want to do the same, you can make 7 more after you've made this one. So you need 8 of these in total, or you can do as many or as few as you like and choose how you want to bunch them together. So I'm going to go ahead and make the rest, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I've made all of these so cute little sparkly grapes. So I've made 8, like I said, and this is what they look like. So what you need to do now is to take your head pins, and we're going to thread them all onto one. So you've got them all on the little head pins, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about halfway, I'd say, on 7 of them, so about ½ an inch. And once you've cut the first one off, you can use what you cut off to sort of measure roughly where the next one needs to be cut. They don't need to be exact because, you know, they're grapes and they're not all perfect. But cut them all roughly like 1/2 inch above the grape to create your loops. So you're going to do that, cut 1/2 inch off for 7 of them. For one of them you need to leave it a bit longer. I'm going to cut it about 2.5 centimetres, so I'm just going to cut a tiny bit off the end. So this is the difference. So for 7 of them you're going to cut it so that you have 1/2 inch above the grape, and for one you're going to cut it so you have about 3/4 inch or 2.5 centimetres. Okay, so go ahead and thread them all on, cut them all. Then you're going to create your loop. So for the ones that are like 1/2 inch, I'm going to take it about this far down with the pliers, and I'm just going to twist it, start twisting it until the end meets. And can you see that like this side of the grape, it's like straight up, there's nothing, and then this side the loop's completely leaning on the grape. So I'm going to take my pliers in here like this on this straight bit, and I'm going to sort of like twist like that, 90-degree angle, like this. To make sure that it's not going to, the loop's not going to be sitting on the grape, and then I'm going to close it up like that. So now the loop's like sitting straight up, it's not leaning over this side, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to do that for all 7 of those ones, and then I'll show you what to do for the longer one. Okay, so this is the longer one. So I'm going to take about the same place on my pliers again, probably about there. I'm going to start twisting, until it meets, like that. Then I'm going to do the same thing I did before, so that loop, bend it up like that, so that it sits, you know, at a right angle, it's a nice, neat circle. Make sure it's closed. Okay, so that's that one. Then I'll show you how to join them together. Okay, so we've got our 7 little loops like this, and then our 1 long loop, and what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 little jump rings and we're going to attach them all together. I'm going to take one that's open, and I'm going to take the 2 other ones and put them onto it like that, and then close it up. So we've got a little chain of 3. It's kind of hard to show you, but there you go, little chain of 3. We're going to open that first jump ring again, like that. Don't let these ones slide off. So I'm going to hold it like this. So we've got this first little loop open. I'm going to hold these 2 like this, so they're in the middle. So I'm going to first of all thread on this one grape that's got the long thread on it, like that. I'm going to thread another grape onto that side, like that. So I've got the 2 on this side, and then I'm going to thread 2 onto the other side as well, like that. So I've got a total of 4 grapes on here, including the one with the long stem. And then I'm going to close that jump ring up. It's going to look like this. It's hard to show you. So you've got this one long one that hangs at the bottom. Now on this long stem, if you don't like the way that that looks, like, you know, as it moves and you can see that, what you could do is thread either purple so that it blends in, or green seed beads onto there. So the next thing we're going to do is taking our long stem, so find that out from where it is. You're going to open that one up, like that, and you're going to thread one of your grapes onto it, so onto the loop of that one with the long stem, and then close it back up. So now we have this. It's hard to show you, like show it hanging because you can't see it from that angle. So we have this. Now we're going to open up the top loop here on this little chain that we created. We're going to open up that top loop, so slide it round again so that you've got that jump ring in the middle so that you can hold it open. So I'm going to open that one up. So I've opened that one up, so I'm going to hold it again like this so I can thread them onto either side. And I'm going to thread one onto that side and two onto the other side. Oh. And then I'm going to close it up. So now we have this little bunch of sparkly grapes. So that's how I join mine together to make this like little bunch, which I'm trying to show you, but it's really hard. So this is like what it looks like. So that's how I join mine together. You can join yours together however you want yours to be bunched together, really. Just so long as they're in a bunch, I think they look like grapes. So then onto that top jump ring, I'm going to attach my bigger jump rings now. So I've already threaded two together like this. So I'm just going to open one of them up. These big jump rings are really hard to open up, so I've opened one of them up. I find that top jump ring is in there somewhere and attach this to it, and then close that one up. Okay, so now we have this bunch of grapes. Okay, so now if you want to add a little bit of greenery here, just like to make it look a bit more like grapes, then you can either create a little leaf, and I do have a video on my channel for how to make a leaf, and then you just have to attach it with a little jump ring. Or what I'm going to do is take another head pin, and then I'm going to take some size 8 green seed beads, and I'm going to thread on 4 or 5 size 8 green seed beads, and then I'm going to cut the loop about halfway down, take my round nose pliers and create it into a loop, and then I'm going to open that loop and I'm going to attach it at the top, just looking where, when it hangs naturally, where it's the most like silver that I want to cover, so that's over this side. So I'm just going to loop it on where I can and close that up. Oops. Okay, so you've got one little green, and then I'm going to add a couple more of those as well, with maybe 3 this time. You just have to look at yours and adjust it as you do it to how many beads you need and where you need to put it. So yeah, I'm just picking it up, just seeing where there's like a gap where it could use some greenery, and then I'm just adding the green into there. Yep, so I've added 2 there. I'm going to add one more with just 2 little beads on it, cutting it really short. So when you've added as many green little strands as you want, or none at all, it's completely up to you, then that's the finished grapes. So I'm going to change the angle of the camera in just a second so I can show you better how it looks like. And so this is what it looks like hanging up on the keyring. So I've just added the keyring split ring to the top there. So this is what the bunch of grapes looks like. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. I hope you're able to make one of these really cool sparkly bunches of grapes. Comment down below what else you'd like to see, and like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see more of my videos. Follow me on Instagram at Beading by Hannah, and hope to see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.